Freedom doesn't just come from products. Like it comes from our systems and the things that we create to support us. So systems have become a huge, huge part of my business right now. They always were part of it, but I've really focused even more now on making sure that I'm like focused on the systems that are working for me and really implementing more. Welcome to the Bold Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Jen Kinal, and this is a space where bold moves meet inspired action. Join us as we dive into stories, strategies, and mindset of those who are building their dreams, creating impactful communities, and redefining success on their terms. Whether you're looking for practical business tips, a boost of inspiration, or a community that gets your vision, you are in the right place. Get ready to elevate your journey and embrace what it means to be a bold founder. Let's dive in. Hey friends, and welcome back to the Bold Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Jen Kinal, and I'm really excited about today's episode because it is a big one. And if you've ever said this to yourself before, I want you to really listen. So I've been saying this to myself. I didn't start my business to feel burnt out. We all know how exhausted I have been. Or I want more freedom, but not more to-do lists. Like this is such a thing that is in the entrepreneurial space that I'm hearing so much and definitely coming out of my own mouth. So if you were thinking these things as well, then this episode is for you. So I'm walking you through my new, which is basically what I've coined now, my freedom business model. I'm changing up how I'm doing things, really focusing in on the alignment, the strategy, and I've divided it into a 3-part method. And if you're thinking any of those things, like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Why am I an entrepreneur when I'm so burnt out and I just wanted more freedom? This is what we're going to talk about. Okay. So let's dive into these 3-part methods that I've used and started to build into my business so that it supports my life the way I want it to go instead of feeling like I was being consumed by it. So this model is the foundation of how I run everything now, from my weekly planning to my offers and how I show up online. It has been like such a game changer, and I'm excited to just talk with you about it because it has helped me and is still helping me and will continue to still help me as I continue on. So it just really doesn't it takes away the need to feel like we are hustling 24/7. And as an entrepreneur, that is so easy to fall into that step because there's so many things we need to do. There's so many hats that we wear that we're constantly chasing and checking off lists and tackling the next thing. And it's so easy for us to get burnt out or get glued to our phone. Like I am the worst for getting glued to my phone. One, because part of that is my job, but also like sometimes I just want to like scroll, like the dead scroll where you're just like looking at nothing because you're just filling time because you're so used to being like on and busy. And I'm tired of that. We're going to start changing up how we focus and how we live our lives so that we live in more freedom and that we get to just enjoy life and enjoy what we're creating. And it's part of like this new method that I've put together. So I cannot wait to share it with you. So to start off, we really want to think about what does freedom mean for you? I mean, like that should be the top point when it comes to everything. I'm always talking freedom and I'm talking goals. So right now we're talking about what does freedom mean to you? And it really is different for everybody, but I want you to start thinking about what does it mean for you? So for me, it means obviously my love for travel. I just want to be able to travel more. I want to be able to take long weekends. I want to be able to spend time with my family, to be able to see the world, to be able to afford to see the world, to be able to take the time off to see the world. I just want to be able to experience so much that there is out in life. And that is part of like my freedom. I want to be able to do that. Why should I not be able to do that when I'm the one who has the power to create that lifestyle? So that is part of my like freedom. This is what it means. This is what I'm implementing in my new strategy and method going forward. It also means making money when I'm not online. So for me, like when I do my work, like I do my agency work, it does require a lot of me to be present and thinking about what is the marketing content, what are the goals that we're aligning with? Are we making sure that we're focused on getting these like things done for my clients? And so it's a lot of hands-on, it's a lot of my time. And so it really makes me crave more things that I'm not as involved, which is where that passive product, like creating that offline income so I can be somewhere else and then still be profiting. So that's another thing that freedom means to me right now, because as someone who is going through burnout, but also her job requires so much of her, it's really important to me that I can still create more income because I like that safety net of it to be able to create the income without me being present and constantly like pushing. Yes, it's not my like main focus, but I like having that like back end support me. And then obviously just choosing like aligned creative work instead of constantly like searching for new ideas. This is something I've fallen into last where I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to create this and do this. And then I create it and I never tell anyone about it. And so I'm just really thinking on every single aspect of everything that I'm doing. Is this aligned? Does this like meet where I'm going? Is it going to be something that's complementary that I'm going to continue to share? Or is this like that big shiny object that you're like, oh, this thing is so cool, I'm going to do it. And then it doesn't actually move the needle for you. So I want to make sure that everything that I'm doing, and hopefully you'll probably feel this way too, is like everything is strategic. It's not that we're having to be strategic all the time. Like you can feel this with your gut and your soul. But I also want you to like really check yourself and just be like, is this going to move the needle for me or is this another make work project? And I had plenty of those. So that really, really aligns with like how I have been feeling. So I've really learned this the hard way because, like I said, I like the shiny objects. I like to create all the things. I love being creative and creating things. I love creating new businesses. Like it lights me up. But I really need to start moving forward with that freedom first model and that method. And so that's kind of where this three-part system is coming into place because I've really torn down the things that are not strategically aligned. And the fact that I can like breathe a little bit more has been really powerful and beneficial. So I'm excited to share this method with you guys because I'm hoping that if you're kind of like me and feeling like this, even just a little inkling or even not at all, but you're like, that actually sounds like something I should implement now before I ever do get burnt out, I'm going to do that. Okay, so let's break down the three parts of my freedom business model. I love this like name that I've created for this. Okay, so the first part is like that passive evergreen products. So this is what I was talking about before when I was saying like it takes a lot of me in my business to implement all the things that go on in the terms of the agency world. And so I love the fact that there is a way that you can build a passive product. So yes, you still need to talk about it. Just because you build it does not mean it's going to sell. You still have to talk about it and share it. But I love the fact that you can offer something passively and it's really going to change a lot. It's going to allow you to take your knowledge, something you've built, your information, and put it into a digital course, a digital like map walkthrough, email funnel, whatever it happens to be, calendar, whatever it happens to be, and then sell that passively. So like just me talking about it is me selling it passively. I'm not like it's not my main focus in my business, but it is something that I created with all my knowledge that will help you. So that's like my passive product powerhouse course, which teaches you how to create passive products, like the actual nuts and bolts of it. And then the other one that I have is the bold marketing calendar. So the bold marketing calendar is like how you use my Trello system that I use for my clients to map out their marketing campaigns, their content for the whole month, whether it can be emails, it can be podcasting, it can be even like Pinterest, it can be LinkedIn, it could be Instagram, specifically what I do. You can use this for anything and it aligns to your goals. So these are the things you can create and you're just taking your expertise and your knowledge and you're packaging them up into like one course and then it can sell on repeat. So it's kind of like the really nice thing about it because you can sell when you're on like a wine trip in Kelowna, one of my favorite things to do, hanging out at the lake, or when you're like deep in client work and you're just like hustling to get everything done. I could be talking about this on the podcast. Well, at home, I'm like in the office and I'm diving into like all the content that I have to get planned out for my calendar. And I could still be making like additional revenue by you listening to this podcast and going, I need that bulk marketing calendar. And you can have like revenue coming in, even though you're not even talking about, which is kind of like I love how the podcast can help do that too. So we talked about that last week on the podcast. So if you have not listened to monetizing your podcast, that's like an extra way to kind of bring together your passive products and your monetization of your podcast together. Just saying. And honestly, that just creates a little bit more breathing room. So you're just like, for me, there's so much safety in having money come in from multiple different areas. You've heard my story about my business basically crumbling when COVID basically shut down events and I wasn't allowed to plan events. And I had no business, no income, nothing coming in and how stressful that was. And so it was really nice to be able to have like that safety net of having the multiple income streams. So I've really focused and will continue to focus on having that in all parts of my business. Okay, part two of the systems automation is that freedom doesn't just come from products. Like it comes from our systems and the things that we create to support us. So systems have become a huge, huge part of my business right now. They always were part of it, but I've really focused even more now on making sure that I'm like focused on the systems that are working for me and really implementing more. So for example, like I've got a couple of my favorites, which is Flowdesk. So this is like my email system that I use for everything, but it's also really, really good at creating automations and funnels. So you can use it to create nurture leads. I can use it to sell offers. So that's actually where I'm selling the Bold Marketing calendar, which is amazing. And it's an excellent way to like create connections with your audience, right? Like while you're sleeping, you can have your emails going out bright and early in the morning. Usually mine go out, I think, at like 5 a.m. Just because that's what Flowdesk says is like the best time to post in the morning. It's a great way for us to like build connection with our audience even while we're sleeping. It's just awesome for them. So then another one that I use is actually later. It helps me to auto schedule all my content. It's what I use for a lot of my clients. I use their content in that, and it allows it to just like constantly flow out, allows them to stay online, allows them to plan in advance. So that's a really big part of my system in terms of just allowing all my content to get up to all the places. I believe for mine, I have later scheduling to Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. So like I can take one post and have it go to all the different platforms. I mean, technically, you should have like TikTok should have its own content, Instagram should have its own content because they have different like styles, but we don't have time for all of that. So I'd much rather create one on my focus platform and then spread that out to the other platforms because I feel like it's better to have it spread out and I'll focus on the one platform where all of my target audience clients are, and then have it spread out to everyone else on the other platforms. So another place that I like love, love, love for systems is Trello. I've talked about this lots. I use Trello for all my clients. Every client has their own board and we go through their marketing strategy and their plans for that whole month. And that's how we like actually implement everything is from Trello. It's like our mind map for everything. But it's also my mind map for where I like hold the Bold Marketing Calendar templates. It's where I keep all of my client information. It is where my team can see what's going on each calendar and say, okay, this is my task and I can go do it and then check mark and that auto flags me that something's like been done and completed. So Trello has been like a game changer in terms of like keeping everything flowing. And you can check it from your computer, you can check it from your phone. It is so handy. It's amazing. I love it so much. And then if you want to actually like try any of these tools, I'll put the links in the show notes. So these are all my affiliate links, which I've talked about before with you guys, but they really have been like these are my main things that I use all the time in my business. And I cannot like hype them up enough. They make such an impact in terms of just creating that ease, because that's the point. You need to create more ease. You need to have your systems going on in the background so you're not the one who's constantly doing them. And then obviously I've also got the Bold Marketing Calendar. That is my system that I've implemented. And then I'm sharing that with you guys. So if you guys are interested in it, I'll put the link for that in the show notes. That is just like what I use for my clients to keep them on track with all their marketing content and making sure that we know what we're posting every single day, every single week, making sure it's aligned with their goals, their themes, and all that. So I'll put that below in the show notes also, something you're definitely going to want to check out. And then lastly is bold boundaries and your offer alignment. So this is the third part of the method, and it's probably the most important part of the method because if we don't have our boundaries and we're not creating products and doing our offerings within our alignment, then everything's going to crumble because it's just going to burn you out and exhaust you. Like we can really have all the automation and all the passive products in the whole world. And if you are not like sticking to your alignment or you're not saying no to things and you're saying yes to everything, you're going to start feeling overwhelmed, stuck, resentful. And I've been there. I've been there where I was like, I just really want to be the best at everything. So yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll do this. And I just got exhausted. I remember when I was doing events, I would have people all the time ask me if I would discount my services. And it got to the point where I was like, no, I'm not doing that anymore because then I get really grouchy with like, I'm doing the same amount of work, but for less money. And that less money means that I'm not with my family and I'm not with my, like, not hanging out with my friends or I'm not just enjoying my own peace and quiet. So it got really important for me to get clear on my boundaries and what is acceptable. Even when it comes to working with clients now, I'm very upfront with this is when we work, this is when we don't. We don't work on weekends, we don't work after like 5 p.m. We're just not available. And those are things that I've bent before. And I was always like super tired from them. And then after when I no longer had that client anymore, I was like, oh my God, I can breathe finally. So you really need to get super clear on like, what are your boundaries? What are you going to say yes to? And what are you going to say no to unapologetically? And the more you do it, the more you experience it, the more you have like the clients who kind of drain you, the more you start to realize, no, I'm not doing that. It doesn't even have to be just clients. It could be like, maybe my boundary is I turn my office like door gets closed. It gets closed at like 5 p.m. And I'm not picking anything up. I'm not going in there. I'm not brainstorming. That is like my time, right? So think about what your boundaries are that you need to be successful. And then also get really clear on like what is lighting you up? What is making you so excited about your business? And then also on the flip side of that, what is draining you? Because it doesn't have to be just like clients. It could be specific parts of your business where you're like, oh, every time I do this, I get really, really tired. I don't know what I'm doing. Like it's not working for me. So we need to actually think about what is draining you and can those be removed or can those be moved on to a different team member? Right. So we just want to get really clear on what it is and then what parts of our business are really moving the needle. We don't need to be spending so much time on parts that like barely bring in any income or are not actually aligned with our goals and our dreams. Like we just really need to think about like what are we doing every single day and is this actually helping us grow and build our businesses stronger? Okay, so now you've got the three-part method. What do you do? Like, what's next? So I want you to start building your schedule around that. Start to think like, what does freedom really look like for me? I mean, we've already talked about like, what does it mean in terms of like passive income? What does it mean for your own products? What does it mean for having some boundaries in place? What does that look like? And start building a business from that so that it honors your life and that it honors what you want out of your life. So if this episode lit you up, I want you to think about something. Like, I want you to know this. You don't need to burn out to succeed. You don't need to be completely exhausted all the time to be successful. Look at what is your definition of success. To me, originally, it was like, I'm so busy. I've got all this going on. It's amazing. And then you look back at that and I'm like, that's not successful. You constantly working is not successful. Yeah, maybe your margin or dollar profit might be like really good, but you're missing out on so much. You're missing out on your family. You're missing out on like time to go to the lake. You're missing out. Some people don't even take vacation. Like that would kill me to not take a vacation. So we do not need to constantly be going and going and going and be burnt out in order for us to succeed. What actually is way more like successful is noticing where you're at, noticing where you want to go, and start really focusing in on creating that, getting to where you want to go, not being busy with like stuff that doesn't align with us. You also don't need to hustle harder to make more money. That is one of the things that I've already spoken about in this episode is that we don't need to be working more and more and more. I personally want to work less. I want to create systems that help me make more money. I want to create products that help me make more money without me being so hands on because it can be so exhausting when we are constantly like on all the time and constantly working to achieve the next big thing. You can build a business that runs with more ease, more alignment, and just more breathing room. Like the thought of just being able to breathe and like enjoy the business that we've created and the lives we created and time with our family and to be able to just go out and like travel or see the world or just sit on your deck. Like, can you imagine just having time to sit on your deck? Sometimes those are the easiest things we can get, and yet we still never have time for them. So we can start creating that life and a life that we're dreaming of. And it honestly just starts with that first step. So if you're ready to build like a passive product or to just really focus in on your marketing, then check out the Passive Product Powerhouse. I've listed it down below, or also the Bold Marketing Calendar. Both of those are the systems that I'm using that are really helping me take myself a little bit more out of the equation, build more systems, and have that like life that I want without taking more of me and more of that hustle culture because I'm not going for that anymore. So I'd love for you to check that out. And as always, thank you so much for being here. And I would love to hear what you are doing in your bold moves, in your life, your dreams. And if you love this episode, please make sure to share it and tag us. I would appreciate hearing it so much. I just love to hear when you guys are like resonating with what we're putting out. And we're definitely shifting how our content is coming out lately. I'm kind of like just loving it, but I hope you are too. So please let me know what you think. And I would love to see you guys in the next episode of the Bold Entrepreneur Podcast. Have a wonderful day.